In Stacker, you can use roles to apply different permissions to different users. So for example, if you want to give your admin users more powers than your sales members, if you have customers and staff all on a single table and want to give them different permissions, you can use roles to do this. Here we have Walker Properties. They've built a fantastic app where you can look at individual properties, you can see the units linked to it, and you can also see the sales interest and the people looking to purchase. They've got 3 different profiles of users in their contacts table. They've got their sales team, their clients, and the buyers for those properties. Now they want their sales team to be able to see all the information, but the clients should only be able to see their own properties and the sales that are happening there. The buyers should be able to see any property on the site, but they can't see the sales data or information about any of the other buyers. Normally, to set this up in 3 different apps would be time consuming, and it would be really hard to keep them in sync as you keep on developing. Instead, we can use the roles functionality to allow this to all take place in the single app, but with different permissions for each user role. Let's have a look. So we can go to Setup Home by clicking the Setup cog and choosing Setup Home, and then we can configure roles and enable this. We need to choose a field that will power these roles. Here, we're using this field called role, and that's a single select field containing each of these different types of clients. So we'll choose one of the single select fields and save. This has created a default role for us, and we're going to configure this to be the most limited role, which is the buyers. So we don't want them to be able to see the general list of contacts or the different interactions or sales that are happening at the properties, but they can see the properties and their units. Let's add our other roles. We'll add one for the team. So this is the internal staff. And these can see all the information apart from the profile page, which they don't need to see. Then finally, we'll add the clients who the team are selling on behalf of. And again, we'll choose the value from that drop-down field to map to. The clients should be able to see their properties and the sales interactions that are happening for their behalf. What we've done so far is just limit which pages these users can see, but we haven't limited the data that they can access. So we'll go to Properties and we'll see how we can do that. By going to Properties Permissions, you can see we can now apply different permission rules to certain roles. So right now the buyer role has the ability to see all records, but they can edit and create new records, which we don't want them to be able to do. We can also make sure that they're not seeing any sensitive fields, so they should only be able to see things necessary to display the listing. We can make a new rule and apply this just for the clients. Clients should only be able to see their own properties. So we can select clients for this role, and we can use the permission system to limit it to only being able to see properties which matches the client record. We'll allow them to update their records, but not to list new properties without going through the sales team. We can also give them control over which fields they can access. Then finally, we can give a much more general permission to the sales team and apply that to this role. The sales team can access all the records, and we'll give them full permissions for creating, updating, and editing fields. All right, let's go and log in as some of these customers and see what it looks like from their perspective. You'll see on the Impersonate User screen, we can now see which role everyone is. So let's start off with a team member. When they log in, they can see the properties. You can see all properties, and by clicking in, they have full edit access to any of them. If we log in as one of the buyers, they have access to their profile tab. They can't see the sales on the properties, but they are able to see all the properties listed on the site. Then finally, if we log in as one of the clients, clients can't even see anything about profiles. They can only see their own properties, but they can go in and edit them if they want. Using roles, you can add more user types into the Stacker app without having to spin out different apps. You need to remember to have a single select field on your user table, and this has to be done with all the users in the same table. So you can't use this if you've got customers and staff in different tables. That might mean you need to do some reformatting of your data in Airtable, and it's really up to you to decide whether the hassle of doing that and changing the way your data is modeled is worth it instead of just having two Stacker apps.